Hola mi familia, what you saying? Welcome to 3 moves, infinite exploration. Not so much focusing on the individual movements, but letting them be an anchor with which our imagination and the personality of our body can flourish. Having a little bit of critical thinking and stealing like an artist, seeing where these 3 moves can weave and create poetry in the body and the pace and the rhythm and the timing that suits you. First movement, nice and easy, Panda Rolls. We'll get straight into it. It serves as a nice warm-up as well. Panda Roll, from kneeling, from one side to the other side. So we start in a fisherman pose. One shin down, which is going to dictate the side that we're rolling. One knee up, hence fisherman pose. One hand down, same forearm, we're doing the same side. From here, as I roll onto the hip, the opposite side lengthens, and then as I roll onto the back, we just mirror this side. So we switch to let that be this container with which we can push up from. Back into fisherman on the other side. Roll through the landing pads, switch, and up. From the other side. Remember, the kneeling side is the side that we're traveling in this variation. Extend. Again. Panda Rolls. Easy peasy. Serves as a nice, that's going to be a junction and a transition that shows up in many, many different transitions. Very, very low cost of energy. Quite indulgent on the floor if you let it be. So don't hold any tension when you do it. The floor's doing the work for you. So see, let the head really halo across the ground. The weight of the head gets to enjoy the floor for a moment. So a very low expenditure of energy, and you get time to find which option you want to do in and out of the shape. Also, that connection of the head to the ground really does allow for exploration of transitions from the head as well. So it keeps the ability to come up standing, to track down towards the ground. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, Panda Rolls. Next, it'd be good if I actually thought about what the 3 moves are going to be. What is next? I'll do a variation of a backwards roly-poly. So, if you've seen other videos of mine, you know I like to explore these sort of diagonal rolls. It's very intuitive for the body. Just essentially rolling from one base hip, the support side, which can be, in this case, dictated by the knee that's down. And we're rolling towards the opposite shoulder. So we can just do these seesaws from here. So I'm here, I roll from my left hip to the right shoulder, and tap the right foot down, left leg high, and retrace. Hip to opposite shoulder, and back. I'll demonstrate the other side. So I'm basing in my right side. So I roll across to my opposite shoulder. That foot comes down. This is just a warm-up drill, because the variation that we'll play with today as the anchor, with which you can chop and screw later on, is opposite foot landing. So it's not left shoulder landing, but as I commit to the right hip, to the left shoulder, I actually bring the opposite foot across and roll. So instead of the same side, or this left leg coming down, I switch and come under. Because it just serves as a really a nice spirally way to come up through standing. It's really nice. Demonstrate the other side. So I'm basing in my right hip. This position here from right hip to opposite shoulder. Wait, did I do that one already? I think I did. Let's go from left hip. Here, left hip to right shoulder. Boom. Switch. Up. And roll back. I have no idea which side I did, but hopefully it's the other side. And up. Doesn't matter how you come up there. That'll be the next thing we'll explore here. How you come up, let it feel efficient. Use the center of mass above your foundation to the ground to let the come up be easier. Doesn't have to be a big push up. I'm just finding my center of mass. And the way we come out is just rewinding. We'll go through that in a moment. But from left hip to right shoulder. Where I can come down, I can bring this knee down. Sweep the leg and come up. If you are using a little bit of momentum, maybe the knee doesn't come down. We get a little bit of push strength into the hands. Pushing, but it's not just a big plyometric push through the arms. I'm letting the weight come over my feet as well. So I'm always trying to stay on this easier axis. That movement is kind of replicates a bit of a windmill motion from breaking. I first learned it as a kid. We called it a flare-up when I used to do kung fu classes as a baba. And the movement is this, kind of like this opposite wind-up, which kind of looks a little bit like the windmill motion, or there's a coin drop. But just showing that how a very simple gesture here of just switching the legs creates this different quality of momentum. I take this off. I'm going to forget it if I put it there. So, that's the, I don't even know what to call it, backwards roll variation. Like a windmill roll. If you did want to try the flare up, why not? Instead of kind of rolling back straight over, I just kind of use this back leg now as a winding motion. You can still go nice and slow. You can kick across, and here I'm using that wind to open, and now this leg is the one that's coming across and round. So I use this wind up across and I lean back to counterweight so I don't stay set up. I kind of go away from the thigh to roll through the shoulder. Separate the legs, use that momentum to roll. Like so. That can eventually, when you find the timing of that motion, it can create that flare up. It's fun. Let that be your own research, your own timing. I won't kick the ass out of that one today. So now that we've done the backwards roll, how do we get into it? This spiral roll down, it's so easy. From here, feet wide. Bringing one hand down in front, but in front of the opposite foot. So I'm not rotating into it for now. For the placement, I'm reaching forwards, hand almost in line with the opposite foot, because this is going to create space for the shin to come down. And I'm going backwards on myself. Over here. Right hip to opposite shoulder. Switch the legs and round. So that's a nice way to come from standing to lying. Come across, same shin, hip, come around, opposite foot, into the roll. Next, Chapeu de Couro. Cover this in another video. That kick there comes from a capoeira movement, and I I've covered this before, so I'll try to remember to put a link. If I forget to put the link, please write a comment, remind me, and I will do it as soon as you write it. But I might forget after editing. I'm already just going to my future self and knowing that's probably going to happen. And I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't know why I self-sabotage. Anyway, Chapeu de Couro. It's been covered. Some breakdown drills. So I'm not going to kick the ass out of it today. The movement, essentially, home, like so. What's a nice way to get into it? That same spiral roll we just did for the backwards roll, instead of coming down the knee and the hip, the same trajectory from the start. However, hand down, I can slide this foot nice and close towards the planted foot, because then as I rotate and switch, notice I'm coming onto the ball of my foot. Come onto the ball of my foot to base, and then all of this travel to the other side, creates kick and push. So it's going to be a variation of how to come into it today. Rotate, but I come onto the ball of the foot to switch, kick, and wind. Like so. So there's a little bit of a slide onto the roof of the foot, but it quickly, as I'm transitioning to the other hand, it comes onto the ball of the foot. So here, slide. So I switch, becomes the base, 2, boom, and follow. I don't know what that was. That's talking too much. Landing on the same leg. Wow. Here. I quite like that though. Instead of coming round. Happy accident. I'm going to go with that. What did I do? I kicked the leg over. That works. That bloody works. It's going to be a move today, if you want to try it. Instead of landing, kick and land on that leg, hyper it, and keep that leg in the air, and switch and land on the other side. Sorry, this is a bit unhinged. I like that. I'm going to make a note of that. I'm not saying I invented that by any means. Definitely haven't, but that was not the intention there. Let the leg come over. Oh. You're watching me now on the research. This might take a while. Feel free to skip to the next timecode stamp if you don't want to watch this. But that goes nicely into Panda Roll. Nicely into a roll. Whoa. It's one to try. So yeah, that's our 3 movements. 3 variations. Panda Roll. Backwards roll. Variation 1. Roll. Variation 2. Chapeu 1. Chapeu 2. Even just breaking down 3 movements, notice all the different orders and different ways it can show up there. Yeah, cool movements that. So that was me kind of just going through them in order and trying to feel where not only the separate skills show up, but where they can bleed from one into the next. And the more repetition, and the more proficiency. Notice that I made a mistake, and because of other movement language, it was able to flow. Movement language that's relative to today's session, it was able to flow into the Panda Roll, something else. So see where you can pick apart a movement skill as well, piecing things together. Okay, I'm going to try in this flow to incorporate the things, but also I'm going to take time to just try to see where I can pick apart movements as well. And find and take part of a skill and turn it into something else. So, that worked. That was nice. There was a few moments, I'm going to watch it back and see, a few moments where I felt like I was thinking about what's coming next. And that's okay, that's what I like about it. The more you repeat different forms of vocab and movement, the more things will just bleed spontaneously to create flow. Definitely there for me an anchor was this position here. When I came to this position, I was kind of giving myself a very brief moment of choice to be like, do I want to carry on with the momentum of how I've come up? Do I want to change the direction? Because I feel like I've been doing the same side. As I rolled here, I was kind of choosing whether I wanted to push up into a chapeu, if I wanted to take it into the back roll, or even coming down, take it into Panda Roll. So just kind of noticing different juncture points and giving myself options, and it doesn't have to be that fast. Take your time to meet them and see which possibilities are there. That's it, I think. Nice one, guys. Love. If you enjoyed the thing, you know what to do. Give it a like. If you want to keep this synergy flowing and growing, subscribe to your boy. If you want to help me with the late night edits, feel free to buy us a coffee. I call it unicorn blood. Gives me a little bit of a spurt and a boost to be able to roll these out consistently. And other than that, love, 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 family tree. Te quiero mucho. I don't know why it's a Spanish day today. I've exhausted the extent of my Spanish anyway. In a bit. Peace.